Hello everyone and welcome to the Fintelligent Investor channel. I'm CA Pratiksha Pai. Friends, we have seen a lot of instances in the past as well where many oversmart people try to misuse the tax provisions and try to find loopholes in the tax act and use this to do some sort of tax evasion or tax frauds. We have also seen a lot of such frauds in the GST area as well. However, we have also seen that in the past few years, the Anti-Corruption Bureau or the GST Vigilance Department have been very successful in uncovering such frauds and flagging such loopholes. And also, once such frauds have been uncovered and the loopholes have been plugged, also the GST collection has also increased. And in most of the cases where such scams or frauds are seen, it is also seen that there is an involvement of an insider like a GST officer or someone who is within the system who has also been involved in the scandal. In a similar way, in Delhi, a massive GST fraud has been uncovered worth rupees 54 crores, wherein almost these people, a group of 7 people, have defrauded the government of 54 crore rupees. And in this connection, one GST officer, 3 lawyers, 2 transporters, and 1 owner of a fake company have been arrested. So basically, what is this fraud? What is the loopholes that were being exploited? How was this fraud uncovered? What did the investigation reveal? And what was the modus operandi? How was the fraud designed especially? And what was the role and involvement of each of the person that got arrested? Let us check all of this in a very simple and quick manner. Let's dive in. First, let us understand what is this fraud. So the Anti-Corruption Bureau in Delhi has uncovered a major GST fraud involving 7 people, out of which there is 1 GST officer, 3 lawyers, 2 transporters, and 1 owner of a fake company who have defrauded the government for almost 54 crore rupees and have now been arrested. Basically, these people used around 500 fake companies to generate fake and fraudulent invoices worth rupees 718 crores, out of which they claimed fake GST refunds worth rupees 54 crores. So they registered almost 500 companies which were just on paper. These were fake companies, and then they raised invoices in the name of these companies which was around 718 crore rupees, and on the basis of these invoices they claimed GST refunds up to around 54 crore rupees. Now let's understand one thing. Who pays the GST? The final consumer. However, till a product reaches the final consumer, it goes through many other businesses. Like for example, let us say the product goes from the manufacturer to wholesaler to the next dealer to retailer and then finally to the final customer. Now each business, when they get this product, what they do, they pay the GST to their vendor and recover that GST when they pass on the product to the next business. Like for example, if there is a wholesaler, what will he do? He will pay GST when he is purchasing the goods from the manufacturer and then recover that portion of GST when he is selling the goods to the next dealer. This cycle goes on and on till the product reaches the final consumer. So the wholesaler pays a portion of GST to the manufacturer, and while he passes on the product to the next person, that portion which he paid to the manufacturer, he will recover it from the next person who would have otherwise paid it to the government. Then there is a second scenario in respect of exports. There are certain goods which are zero rated exports. So what happens when you are purchasing the goods, you are paying the GST to your vendor. However, when you are exporting the goods, it is a zero rated sale. So what happens in this case again? Whatever you have paid to the previous person, you claim that as a refund from the government. So these are basically two areas where a lot of people try to take an undue advantage. When, first of all, in the first scenario, when there is a trail, like say I said manufacturer, wholesaler, dealer, retailer, and then consumer. So what these fraudulent people do, they put a lot of companies in the trail, and then they say that, okay, we paid GST to the prior person, and then we paid to the other prior person. And in each stage, they try to claim that refund from the government. And even in scenario 2, they show that we have done a zero-rated export, whereas we had paid GST to the previous vendor, so we want a refund of that as well. So here, in where there is a lot of trail, where there are a lot of companies involved, where you are paying GST and recovering GST, paying GST and recovering GST, it becomes very difficult to catch hold of the trail if any fraudulent activity is happening at any one spot in this trail. This gives rise to a lot of fake invoices at various points in this trail, on the basis of which refunds are being claimed. In this case also, almost 500 fake companies were registered just for the sake of raising invoices on the basis of which refunds could be claimed from the government. And not just a few lakhs or something, but invoices were generated worth around 718 crores. Okay, but lots of invoices, not just one invoice of 718 crores, but a lot of fake invoices, around 718 crores, on the basis of which claims of refunds were made up to the tune of 54 crores. And now these people had told that they are involved in the import and export of medical goods. So that export angle is also utilized in this fraud. Now let us understand how this fraud was designed. So there is this GST officer called Babita Sharma. She hatched this plan involving 96 fake companies. And in the year, between the years 2021 and 2022, she approved almost 400 fake refunds amounting to 35.51 crore rupees. In the first year, she processed refunds around 7 lakh rupees. So 7 lakh rupees worth of refunds she approved and processed off. And in the later year, the remaining of the refunds up to rupees 35 crores were also approved. Now what happened was that these refund requests were being very quickly approved and processed, and that was also one thing that raised the suspicions, because these refund requests were being approved by this particular GST officer, Babita Sharma, within 3 days of filing the application for refund. So the approval was being given just within 3 days for refunds up to rupees 35 crores, which started to raise suspicions. So why is 3 days considered to be too quick? Because see, whenever GST officers receive these requests of refunds, they have to do a thorough examination, and they have to check correctly whether, the transactions are genuine, the transactions have actually taken place, whether the invoices are genuine. So they have to also check the trail of the, the entire transaction, and all this takes some time. But this particular GST officer was not examining any of these crucial information and just going on approving and processing the refunds. And that was, considered to be too quick, because generally in 3 days, you cannot do the entire examination. You have to ask the other party for any trail details, transaction details, e-way bills, invoice details, etc. And that was just not being done. And these requests for refunds were being approved and processed very quickly. Now, even though all these refunds were being, processed and approved quickly, etc., but there should have been some action that happened that uncovered this fraud. So what happened and how was this fraud uncovered? Let's see now. In the year 2021, this particular officer, Babita Sharma, was transferred from Ward 6 of the GST office to Ward 22. Now see, this city Delhi, entire Delhi city will not have just one GST officer and GST office. It is divided into various wards. So this particular officer was posted in ward number 6, but she was transferred to ward number 22. That is the jurisdiction, basically, another jurisdiction, ward 22 in the year 2021. And surprisingly, an unusually huge number of firms, almost 50 firms, also applied for their GST case to be transferred and migrated to ward number 22 from ward number 6. Okay, as soon as this lady was transferred, many GST businesses, many GST firms whose case was being handled by ward number 6, they applied for their case to be migrated to ward number 22. And shockingly, this request of migration was also approved within a very short period. And that also raised a lot of suspicions. Why are 50 firms wanting to migrate their cases to a different ward as soon as the GST officer of this ward is being transferred to another ward? Because see, needless to say, to carry on this fraud, they need the help of this particular officer. So their GST case has to be with this particular officer. That is why they would have, applied for migration. Now, a particular ward has a jurisdiction over a particular specific area. So why will 50 firms at once migrate from one area to another? So all these started to raise suspicions in regard to why these more than 50 firms wanted to suddenly migrate from ward number 6 to ward number 22, and why was this request also approved within no time. And who noticed this? The GST Vigilance Department noticed this unusual activity, and they sent their teams to the offices of these firms. And basically, after this entire probe was transferred to the ACB, that is Anti-Corruption Bureau, and then this particular major fraud was uncovered. Now, finally, let us understand the modus operandi of this fraud, which means how was this fraud actually carried out. So basically, the fake firms, I told, right, 500 fake companies were registered. So these fake companies generated invoices worth 718 crores and showed fake purchases, which means these are not real transactions, these are not real invoices, these are just paper invoices, just like that, generated to claim refunds. And the GST officer involved in this case, she started approving these invoices without actually examining whether these invoices are genuine, whether the transactions are actually being carried out. And she was just approving these refunds within a very short period of time. Point number 1. Point number 2, over 40 firms out of these fake firms were claiming that they had supplied goods in the first phase. But when the trail was checked in the second phase, there was absolutely no information available for anything in second phase. So if you are saying that you have supplied the goods, then the next person also should have received the goods and done something with the goods. Either they are the final consumer or they would have further, supplied the goods to someone else. But for these more than 40 firms, they said that they had supplied the goods. There was only records of phase 1, but there was absolutely no record of a second phase when the examination was being done. Point number 3, out of these fake firms, at least 15 firms had lacked the Aadhaar verification, the Aadhaar card verification, and they also did not have the physical verification done at the time of the GST registration. And both of these are mandatory, which is the Aadhaar card verification as well as the physical verification. Is the office actually there? Is the transaction taking place? Is the business genuine? Nothing of these verifications were done for at least 15 firms out of these fake firms. Point number 4. Out of the 53 firms that migrated from Ward 6 to Ward 22, as soon as this Babita Sharma also got transferred, out of these 53 firms, almost 48 firms had got their refunds approved worth rupees 12.32 crore rupees. Next point, the GST officer Babita Sharma was transferred from Ward 6 to Ward 22 on July 26th, 2021. And the NOC from property owners of these fake firms was obtained between July 26th and July 27th. That is within 1 day of the transfer of this GST officer. So you can see that, even though they designed this fraud, there were just a lot of loopholes enough to raise major suspicions on this particular scandal. Now, there were three lawyers also involved. What was their involvement in this entire design? Let us see. So basically, the investigation had revealed that, the GST refunds that were being approved by this Babita Sharma were issued in the bank accounts of these three lawyers, who are Rajat, Mukesh and Narendra Saini, and these people's family members and their employees. So these people had different bank accounts. How many? As many as 1,000 bank accounts these three lawyers had done. And these 1,000 bank accounts were linked directly to their fake firms, to their family members and their employees. Also, to add to this, okay, first of all, 1,000 fake bank accounts in which they were getting these GST refunds. And to add to these three lawyers operated 23 fake firms with the same PAN number, same email ID and same mobile number. So imagine 23 firms having same PAN number, same email ID and same mobile number. This was also enough to raise a suspicion. And out of this, 5 firms were registered under the same PAN number and same email ID, but they had generated different GST numbers. And how is that possible, right? And the 23 firms handled by these three people had generated fake invoices worth rupees 173 crores. And out of these 23 fake companies, almost 7 companies were shown to be involved in the supply of medical goods. And these 7 companies had generated invoices and shown a business of 30 crore rupees in these fake invoices. So basically, this was the involvement of lawyers, wherein they did fake companies, fake bank accounts in order to get these GST refunds, and they generated the fake invoices. And also, they did these companies almost in the few of these companies in the same PAN, same email ID, and same mobile number, but different GST numbers, etc. And they were running this whole show of generating invoices and claiming refunds. But in order to claim refunds, you have to have these, e-way bills. So where were they generating these e-way bills from? So here comes the involvement of the 2 transporters and 1 person who was the owner of these fake companies. So fake owner of fake companies. So there was one fake owner of the company, Manoj Goyal, and 2 transporters, Surjit Singh and Lalit Kumar. Of course, all these people are also now arrested because of their involvement in this scandal. So what were these people doing? They were providing the fake e-way bills and the goods receipt bills. So receipt for carrying those goods. There were no goods. There was nothing. They were showing fake e-way bills and fake receipts for carrying goods, using which the GST refunds were being claimed. So basically, see, it is actually they designed this fraud in a very great manner, okay. The lawyers sat and did these, these 3 particular lawyers, they sat and did this fake companies, fake bank accounts, fake GST numbers, fake invoices, these transporters and this fake owner of a fake company. These 3 provided the fake e-way bills, fake receipts for carrying goods. What did these 2 transporters and fake owner get for providing these fake bills? They got some money for that service, for providing these fake e-way bills and fake receipt for carrying goods. They were paid some money. Whereas these lawyers received all these big GST refunds in their fake bank accounts. And of course, the GST officer who has approved this also will be getting some or the other commission. See, in this way, this entire fraud was designed and committed, and but of course, there were a large number of loopholes as well. And of course, our GST Vigilance Department and Anti-Corruption Bureau, they are also very smart. They know where to uh, catch hold of which loophole and how to uncover these frauds. And definitely, when this entire picture was examined by the officials, they uncovered this major, massive 54 crore worth rupees of fraud, where the government was defrauded for up to 54 crores. So this should be a lesson for all of us, no matter how much, anyone thinks that, they are smart enough to fool the government, etc. It is just not possible. It is better to stay within our lane, stick to the rules, and uh, carry on our particular businesses, because nowadays even there is ease of carrying on business. The government supports at each and every level. If you are doing a startup, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are any type of business, there is good support. So take up that support, whatever the government is providing, and stay within your lane and do a fruitful business, rather than trying to becoming really over smart and trying to misuse the tax provisions and trying to find loopholes. Rather, we can, that same creativity can be used in doing something innovative, in boosting our business, etc. So this was the story of the massive GST fraud that has been uncovered. I hope my explanation was good enough for you all to understand what this is all about. If you feel this video was useful, like and share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and we will be coming up with more such interesting videos. So please stay with us, be subscribed to our channel, and hit the bell icon. Thank you everyone for watching, and goodbye.